1 in 3 adults still living at home, and for many, it's not by choice. A new Realtor.com study found record numbers of Americans in their late 20s and early 30s are living with their parents as home ownership drifts further out of reach. Median home prices have climbed to roughly $430,000, while rents are up nearly 18% from a few years ago. Many of those living at home are employed and helping to cover household expenses as they try to save for a place of their own. And we've been breaking this out on the channel in previous videos where I react to or give commentary on people airing their grievances about the economy and how difficult it is. As you could see here, the people that are still living at home, they are employed, but because of how the economy has just gone to shambles here, we're seeing them help to cover the household expenses and or save up to put money aside so they could afford their own place in the future. This just proves to me that the people that are, furious or upset and taking to social media to talk about their concerns and talk about how the system is against them or the American dream is dead. Clearly something is wrong in the system here, and this is not just, like I said, a made-up situation. This is not an isolated thing. This is across the nation. This is 25 million people that are basically going through this situation here. This is 1 in 3 Americans. We also have a clip here from Fox News. I'm going to go through the clip and pause and give my commentary as well.
Well, living at home as a young adult is no longer taboo. It's new normal. A new study by Realtor.com reveals that 1/3 of young people are still living with their parents.
1/3 of young people. And as you can see, 1/3 of young adults are still living with their parents as old taboo becomes the new normal amid soaring costs. Now, I know in my comment section, people would say, people are complaining. If you want things to change, you go out there and make that change for yourself. And I completely agree from some point of view. But I remember reacting to someone's video and giving my commentary on it when they said, the younger generations are drowning, right? Even people are employed. It's not like they're not employed. They are employed. They are working, but because of the cost of living rising so extremely high here, even though they're working, the most they could do is help to cover household costs or save up so they could get an apartment of their own.
These are not strictly college students looking to save money on room and board. We're talking about a record 25 million people under 35.
As you hear, 25 million people. And look at the statistics here. 20% ages 25 to 29 and 12% ages are 30 to 34.
Higher than at any time in history. Now that includes more than 20% of 25 to 29-year-olds and more than 10% of 30 to 34-year-olds.
And this is the highest it's been in history. This is not an isolated thing. This is across the nation. This is 25 million people, 1 in 3 Americans. So, like I said before in previous videos, I think there needs to be some type of change in what we see here for the economy. I'm not sure how we accomplish this. But as I said, people that air their grievances on social media and talk about these subjects and try their best or do their best to educate themselves is a very smart thing to do. And people that go out there and try to do something to make a change is also great as well. But from these corporations, these billionaires and now trillionaires, from the trickle down to the politicians, etc., we need some type of reset, man. We need to see something to make a difference here for the younger generations. This is not just one state that is affected by this. Again, this is across the nation, as we see here. For the first time in history, history is being made with a negative outcome. Imagine that.
These young people aren't just sitting around at home. About 70% of them are employed.
70% of them are employed.
A lot of them say that they haven't left the nest because they can't afford one of their own. The median home price last year hit $430,000, up more than 34% before the pandemic.
Even buying a home is out of reach for millions of Americans now. $430,000. So if you want to buy a home, you have to become a millionaire at this stage that we're in. So most people, what are they doing? They're renting. But then guess what? The rent costs are very expensive as well. So a lot of these young Americans, as we saw from the ages, they're staying at home, still working, still employed, still, doing the right thing. But they're, again, taking that money to either save some of it to get a place of their own or to help with the household costs. In 2025, the median home price was $430,000, up 34% from 2019, while the median asking rent was $1,673, up 17.9% from 2019. So all we've been seeing over the years is an increase in living expenses, which is the basic necessities of life, to have a place to stay, have a roof over your head. And this is why you see, even in videos like I mentioned or covered in the past, where you see people are trying all kinds of different things, like living in storage units and stuff like that. But again, can you blame the 25 million people for making this decision? You can't blame them, because look at the numbers. The numbers are showing you, right? The numbers are showing you something is very wrong here.
The median monthly rent has climbed nearly 18%, but not all of them are getting a free ride. Almost 3/4 of adult children living at home help pay for groceries or utilities, and nearly half say they help pay rent
or the mortgage, which is very smart. Which is very smart, because if they pay off the mortgage, at least they'll have a home of their own in the future. From First Squawk here, even wealthy Americans feel the system is rigged against them. A growing number of affluent Americans believe the economic system is stacked against them, reflecting broader concerns about rising living costs, housing affordability, taxes, healthcare expenses, and the increasing difficulty of building and preserving wealth, even among higher income households. So even the wealthy Americans feels the system is rigged against them, even the wealthy ones. This is not just, again, an isolated thing. Let's take to some of the comment section here. Meanwhile, you work at McDonald's in the 70s and you got a house, car, family, and a dog. Is the person is Kobos wrong here? Meanwhile, in the 70s, you worked at McDonald's, you could get a house, a car, you could pay for your kids and the dog. Today, you can't even afford to pay rent. Here's a chart showing you the median household income and the median CEO pay. So as we can see here on screen, you could see that the median CEO pay has just continued to rise from since 2020 to now, and the income of average Americans, the household income, has just stayed flat. No growth here at all. But you know what else has risen? Inflation has risen as well. So this is something I'm not an economist, but I'm highlighting on the channel, and I want to take the channel in this direction here to get your own thoughts on what is happening here, and your own to read your comments and basically talk about this and spotlight and put highlight these things that are happening here. This is from Sony. Live within your means assumes that the means were set fairly to begin with. In 1970, the average American CEO made about 20 times what their average worker made. Today, the ratio is over 300 to 1. Worker productivity has risen steadily for 50 years. Wages adjusted for inflation have barely moved, as we saw in the chart here, right? The wages have barely moved to adjust for inflation. The means did not stagnate because workers stopped living within them. The means stagnated because the people setting compensation decided where the productivity gains would go, and they decided they would go up, not down. And I have some stats here from Gemini, the reality check. 25 million Americans aged 18 to 34 are currently living with their parents. That is roughly 1 in 3 young people. The killer stat, nearly 70% of these young adults are fully employed. So they're not being lazy, they're not being bums, they're not on the couch playing video games all day, right? They work 40-hour weeks, 40-hour plus hours a week, but still cannot afford independence. This completely destroys the old narrative that this generation is just lazy or unmotivated. The median US home price is over $400K. Average monthly rent is hovering around $1,700. The take-home pay is devastation. A typical entry-level salary for $45K brings home roughly $3,000 a month after taxes. Spending half of that on rent, over 55% of their net income vanishes into the landlord's pocket instantly. So the tactical survival, this is why they're staying at home now. Moving out today does not mean growing up. It means signing up for instant financial ruin. Staying at home is a smart economic strategy to avoid predatory housing markets. Young people are legally and financially blocked from hitting traditional milestones like saving for a down payment, buying a car, or starting a family. And I could pull up stats about population collapse as well. Now you're only seeing people have 1, maybe 2 kids, and you're even seeing countries incentivize people to have, to start having kids more. Parents are changing their minds too. They see the economic meat grinder outside and are actively begging their adult kids to stay home so they don't get wiped out. And in one of the videos, let me actually show you guys the video. In this video here, you see some moms talking about their kids and what a difference the economy is in. Just how much of a difference it is compared to their time, compared to the younger generation's time now. And this is not just, again, a shift that is happening, in one state. This is not isolated. This is across the nation. And I wanted to highlight this. Again, I'm not an economist, but I'm educating myself and sharing that information with all of you watching. Let me get your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think is happening here? How can something be done to correct this? Can it be corrected, or is it too far gone? I'm interested to read all the comments and hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did, I truly appreciate all the support. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next one.